You are not the body or the mind. The story of King Janaka and Ashtavakra. The royal court of Mithila was unlike any other kingdom in India. Scholars came from distant lands. Philosophers debated for days. Great sages challenged one another with questions that ordinary people could not even understand. King Janaka encouraged every discussion because he believed that truth was more valuable than victory. One morning, the entire royal assembly gathered once again. The greatest scholars of the kingdom were present. Their robes were spotless. Their voices were filled with confidence. Each one believed he possessed the highest knowledge. Then, the doors of the court slowly opened. A young sage entered. His body was unlike anyone else's. His spine was bent. His shoulders were twisted. His legs were uneven. His arms were curved. Every step revealed another deformity. His body was bent in 8 places. He was Ashtavakra. The moment the scholars saw him, laughter echoed throughout the court. Some whispered to one another. Others openly mocked him. They saw only his body. They judged his wisdom before hearing a single word. King Janaka remained silent. He watched carefully. Ashtavakra looked around the court. He smiled. Then he laughed. His laughter surprised everyone. One scholar stood up. Why are you laughing? We are laughing because of your appearance. But what reason do you have? Ashtavakra looked into the eyes of the scholars. Then he spoke calmly. I thought this was an assembly of wise men. Instead, I find only people who judge skin. Leather workers judge leather. Wise men look beyond the body. If you can see nothing except this body, then tell me, where is your wisdom? The entire court became silent. Not a single scholar answered. King Janaka immediately rose from his throne. He walked toward Ashtavakra. He bowed before the young sage. Forgive us. Today my court has failed the test of wisdom. Ashtavakra accepted the king's respect and took his seat. After some time, King Janaka asked, Master, I have studied the Vedas. I have performed sacrifices. I have listened to countless teachers. Yet my heart is not at peace. Tell me, what is the highest truth? Ashtavakra looked at him for a long moment. Then he asked a question instead. Who are you? Janaka smiled. I am Janaka, king of Mithila. Ashtavakra shook his head. That is your title, not your identity. Janaka answered again. I am the son of my father. That is your relationship, not your identity. I am a human being. That describes your body, not your true nature. Janaka became thoughtful. For the first time, a question that had always seemed simple became impossible to answer. Ashtavakra continued. When you were a child, you had the body of a child. Today you have the body of a king. Years from now, you will have the body of an old man. Which one of these bodies is truly you? Janaka remained silent. Ashtavakra spoke again. The child disappeared. The young man disappeared. The adult continues to change every day. Yet throughout every change, one thing has remained the same. The feeling of I. Who is that I? The king closed his eyes. He remembered his childhood. His body had completely changed. His thoughts had changed. His desires had changed. His knowledge had changed. Everything had changed. Yet something had always remained. Something had silently witnessed every stage of his life. Ashtavakra saw the king's mind turning inward. He continued, Tell me, yesterday you were happy. Today you are worried. Tomorrow you may become joyful again. Happiness changes. Sadness changes. Fear changes. Confidence changes. If they keep changing, how can they be you? Janaka answered quietly, They cannot. Good. Now observe your thoughts. They appear. They disappear. Can you see them? Yes. If you can observe your thoughts, then you cannot be your thoughts. Janaka nodded. Ashtavakra pointed toward the palace garden. Look at the sky. The king looked upward. Clouds drifted across the blue sky. Some clouds were dark. Some were white. Some disappeared within moments. What happens to the sky when clouds appear? Janaka replied, Nothing. What happens when storms come? The sky remains. What happens after the clouds disappear? The sky remains. Ashtavakra smiled. Your awareness is like that sky. Thoughts are clouds. Emotions are clouds. Pleasure is a cloud. Pain is another cloud. They come. They remain for a while. They disappear. But the awareness in which they appear never changes. The king listened carefully. For the first time, he was not collecting knowledge. He was observing himself. Ashtavakra continued. Imagine an actor. Today he plays a king. Tomorrow he plays a beggar. The next day he becomes a warrior. Has the actor changed? No, only the costume has changed. In the same way, your body is a costume. Your mind is another costume. But you are neither. You are the one wearing them. The king remained silent for several minutes. The entire court also remained silent. Even the scholars who had mocked Ashtavakra forgot their pride. The young sage then asked another question. When you dream at night, does the dream world feel real? Yes. And when you wake up? I realized it was only a dream. Ashtavakra nodded. During the dream, you believed the dream body was yourself. When you woke up, that identity disappeared. In the same way, spiritual awakening is waking up from the belief that you are merely this body and this mind. Janaka's breathing became slow. He was no longer listening with his ears. He was listening with his own awareness. Ashtavakra spoke softly. Close your eyes. The king obeyed. What do you notice? My breath. Observe it. After a few moments, what do you notice now? My thoughts. Observe them. Again there was silence. What do you notice now? My emotions. Observe them. Several minutes passed. Then Ashtavakra asked the final question. Who is observing all these things? Janaka searched for an answer. He could observe his breath. He could observe his thoughts. He could observe his emotions. But the observer itself could not be observed. It had no shape, no color, no age, no beginning. It was simply present, always present. Suddenly, something changed within him. Not outside, inside. The endless search that had lasted for years became still. He realized that throughout his entire life, he had been searching for himself while never noticing the one who was doing the searching. Ashtavakra opened his eyes and looked at the king. You have spent your life polishing the mirror, but you forgot to look at the one standing before it. You believed yourself to be the reflection. You were always the one looking. Tears rolled down Janaka's face. Not tears of sorrow, not tears of happiness. They were tears of recognition. The scholars watched in complete silence. There was no debate, no argument, no victory, only truth. Ashtavakra stood up. He looked at the entire assembly. You laugh at bodies. You praise beautiful faces. You fear old age. You fear death. You celebrate youth. You mourn wrinkles. But all of these belong only to the body. You celebrate clever thoughts. You fear painful thoughts. You chase pleasant emotions. You run from unpleasant emotions. But these belong only to the mind. The witness of the body is not the body. The witness of the mind is not the mind. You are that witness. You were never born. You never grow old. You never die. The body comes. The body goes. The mind changes. The world changes. But pure awareness remains exactly as it always has. As long as you believe you are the body, fear will follow you. As long as you believe you are the mind, suffering will follow you. But the moment you know yourself as pure awareness, freedom is no longer a goal. It is your very nature. From that day onward, King Janaka continued to rule his kingdom with wisdom and compassion. Outwardly, nothing had changed. He still sat upon the throne. He still made decisions. He still fulfilled his responsibilities. But inwardly, everything had changed. He no longer believed that he was merely a king. He knew himself as the silent witness in which the king, the kingdom, the body, the mind, and the entire world appeared and disappeared. And that is why the teaching of Ashtavakra has echoed across centuries. You are not the body. You are not the mind. You are the awareness that witnesses them both. The body changes. The mind changes. The witness never changes. Know that witness. And according to Ashtavakra, the search ends there.